Hey guys, it's SJ. Happy Baby Name Monday. If you're brand new, this is the home of all things baby names here on YouTube, and today I'm helping some of you guys with middle spots, so middle names, stuck in the middle I'm calling it after the song. So I asked you guys over on Instagram, so if you want to get involved and get a name, Baby Name Envy Instagram or podcast is where we do the consultancy. So for each name, I don't know the surnames, but I've done a safe, brave, daring middle spot because all I have is the name. So boys and girls. The first one was somebody looking for a middle name for Monty. All I have is Monty. So I feel like Monty to me is really playful, really quirky, kind of nickname as first name, but it's also kind of quintessentially British as well, from Montgomery. It's a bit French as well, isn't it? So I do like, for my safe choice, Jack. Monty Jack is quite nice. It's more playful than James, which I love as a middle spot, as a really popular boys middle spot. Monty Jack has got something more playful about it, and I think the names really match each other, but it doesn't overshadow Monty, it complements it. My brave choice is the name RHYS, spelled RHYS. So I really like the fact it's got the same E sound, Monty RHYS, but with the S it really completes it. Sounds quite different. I like the fact that it's got the unique spelling, and so it's got that playfulness of a Monty that I think this mum will like, and it means fire, and Monty means mountain, so I kind of feel like it's got this outdoorsy rugged playfulness about it. My brave choice is a really wild card, but it is the name Arizona. I know, it's long and it's totally different. Monty Arizona. I just think it sounds really cool. I just wrote it down. It was actually the first one I came up with for Monty. It means small spring. So I love this idea of this small spring coming through the mountains, and I just think that's a beautiful image to have, very visual if we think about a little middle name for Monty, the nature vibe. And it's kind of unusual with kind of Monty being quite a traditional, older vintage name potentially, then with an Arizona which is really modern. Think it really works well. So which is your favourite there? Fleur. This mum wants a middle name for Fleur, F-L-E-U-R. Again, you can go anywhere with it. You can make it sound quite vintage. So the first name I've done for my safe is Eloise. So Fleur, Eloise, it goes down that kind of vintage feel. It's got that kind of French to it as well. Eloise is one of our really popular names coming up. Eloise from Bridgerton. Eloise means healthy. It's kind of got this vitality and this floral vibe going for it, and the matching L sound. It's always tried to pair, if we're looking for this for tips, middle names, it's like what's the stronger sound, like Fleur, the L, and then Eloise is really lovely to repeat it, makes it blend really nicely. So then for my brave choice, I've done LENNOX. So again, you can see like Fleur Lennox, suddenly she sounds really up to date and modern. It sort of balances out the vintage vibes. So Lennox means many elm trees. It's got that same blended L that I really like, but with the X it suddenly becomes a really strong companion to what's quite gentle and passive Fleur with one syllable to Lennox, Fleur Lennox, but I think sounds gorgeous together. And my favourite one, or not my favourite, my most daring one, I shouldn't give a preference, is the name NOVELI, Fleur NOVELI. I think it's kind of a made-up name. It's one of these made-up modern names which I'm really keen on. We've done them a few on this channel. I think it's got a kind of whimsicalness to it that Fleur does, but it's got the same strength as, say, a Lennox, and it means power, and power names are really popular for our girls. And I think with Fleur again being such a cool one-syllable name, Fleur NOVELI with the L at the end instead, could be a contender. So a middle name for August for a boy, and this time I had an initial, it must start with J. So the first one I've done for my safe is the name J, J-A-Y. I did put some thought into it though. It's because I really love August J. Just sounds really nice, and I think that J again is a really lovely, we've got a longer first name. J as a middle is really nice, and I love the J bird. So it's a bird, it means protection because the J is a very vocal bird, a songbird, and it would alert people of predators coming, so the sound alerts other animals. So it's kind of a nice songbird, and this meaning of protection I think is a really nice simple complement to a braver name like August. My brave one is Jules, August Jules, with the U repeated as well. Looks really cool. Jorgust, That's what his name is, August. Jules means youthful, and I feel like it softens August with a stronger G. August Jules. It really sort of softens it a little bit, doesn't it? They pair nicely to me. I like that Jules also could be like August being a word name and Jules, Jewels, being a word name, like August Jules. I like that. That makes it nice to me. And my brave choice is August Jacobi. I love it. I know I've mentioned Jack as a middle name, but I think Jacobi is so trendy with August. August is a quirky choice. Jacobi is a quirky choice. I love it said Jacobi. I know you can say Jacobi. I love Jacobi, and I think it works really well with August. For girls, middle name next was Olive. So my safe choice for Olive is Annabelle. I just think Olive, Annabelle sound lovely with the L sound repeated but at the end. And Annabelle is a really underused name, I think. For my brave choice, I've done Olive Arcadia. So Arcadia is a really interesting name. I think it is so trendy, and I think Olive is quite a cool, trendy name as well. Arcadia actually is paradise. So Olive meaning peace, and then Arcadia being this mythological place of paradise. So say like an Eden or any of those sort of paradise places. So is Arcadia for Greek. So I think it's really lovely with the peace and paradise together, and Olive Arcadia is an unusual choice that really works. And my brave choice is very grand romance, so Olive Esmeray. Esmeray means night, and it's just so beautiful, and I think Olive Esmeray just sounds stunning and really works. And I like the Esme. It's kind of the vintage side of Olive, but then adding Esmeray and making it longer really balances out the shorter name, and I just think it really romanticises Olive. For boys, somebody is looking for a middle name for Rhodrie. So Rhodrie is a Welsh name which means famously powerful, and it's a really cool name, so I'm really lovely to hear it. So to balance out, my safe choice is Rhodrie Bow. Bow meaning handsome. I think Rhodrie Bow sounds really good together, a one-syllable boy name. Lots of middle names are one syllable, and repeating the O from Rhodrie Bow, but it's B-E-A-U, of course, the different spelling. I think it looks gorgeous and really works with the letters as well. There's a few E's in there, Rhodrie Bow, it just looks great. Rhodrie actually means king as well, so I quite like the idea of Rhodrie Dax, D-A-X. Picking up from that D sound, Rhodrie Dax works really well, and Jax, J-A-X, became such a popular middle name recently, and I thought Dax meaning king is a great one. And my wild card, or my brave daring choice, is Apollo. Rhodrie Apollo. I just really liked it, couldn't get off it. I really like it. Apollo is the ancient Greek god of sun, poetry, music and prophecy. I liked, what I was looking for was a longer name that ended in an O, so bringing that O sign through from Rhodrie, but ending in the O, and Apollo just really stuck out to me. I did read loads of other ones, so I tip if you don't like Apollo, if it's too strong for you, but I think having king and a god name together could really balance out for Rhodrie and make it work. But it could be like a Rhodrie Matteo, but then a lot of the O sounding names sound quite Italian, but so Apollo kind of just stood out to me, and I love it. Tallulah, a very brave first choice. So what could her middle name be? All these are quite brave, but my safer choice is Tallulah Maeve. So Maeve is one of our, still low down in the popularity list, but quite popular, and she was the queen of the fairies, and Tallulah means leaping water. So I felt again it's got that whimsical vibe, it's got that slightly magical vibe with the leaping water, the queen of the fairies, Tallulah Maeve sound beautiful together. My brave choice is Tallulah Cove, and I think Cove is a really good alternative to like a rose, and obviously Maeve, great alternative to a May, which was very popular middle spots. Tallulah Cove is gorgeous because you've got that leaping water meaning, with cove being the safety little cocoon of a cove of water. So those really work beautifully together. And one syllable, really always again, a really good one to have. And the last one's also one syllable. It's an unusual one, but it is Tallulah RHYS, R-I-S-E. I love it. I love it. It's a modern virtue name. These modern virtue words, like we used to have hope, faith, and now we're getting a lot brave with them. And rise is one that's on the rise, but I love it, Tallulah Rise, and I think it really is uplifting when you're thinking about leaping water. Tallulah Rise, I'm just a bit obsessed with it. I think it is very cool. Seth for a boy, I've got for my safe choice, Seth Theodore. So repeating the TH and lengthening it and going with quite a traditional but underused name. Theodore works really well. Seth Eddison is my brave choice, and I really like the name Edison. I think it's really cool, and I think bringing the to Edison, Seth Edison, it repeats the sound. I'm good at my phonics. What I also liked is obviously Edison being the inventor, but I quite liked the idea of an SON ending, so he could be Sunny Seth as a little pet name in the family. It's like a little family name with taking Sunny from Edison, Sunny Seth. I thought was cute. And my brave choice for Seth is Ezekiel. So Seth is actually a Hebrew name. Seth was the third child of Adam and Eve in the Bible, so you could look into rare Hebrew names. One of my favourites is Ezekiel, again picking up on the E sound in Seth. I think because Seth is so simple, it can have a more difficult or longer middle spot. If you had two really complex names, it's hard, but Ezekiel is a tiny bit harder to say phonetically, but I love it. It's one of my favourite rare Hebrew gems, and I think works really well as a pairing for Seth, which is a name I love. So do look at 4-syllable names to balance it out. That's where I was going with it. And I also, Ezekiel means strength, and I think it does strengthen Seth. I've got a couple more. So I've got Elsie, somebody after a word name specifically as a middle spot for traditional Elsie. My safe one is amethyst. So you might think that's not that safe, but she wanted a word, a thing, and I feel like crystals are a great place to go. Amethyst is the stone of peace, and I think it sounds absolutely gorgeous with the S, Elsie, amethyst. Gorgeous to me. Amethyst is that beautiful purple, and I feel Elsie is quite, being a royal name short for Elizabeth, purple was always a royal colour, and I think it really works. Another word name that I liked is Elsie Lyric, picking up on the L. Again, a word name was what she was after. What do you think of lyric? And I even thought, does it sound nicer to go Elsie Lyrical and really adding on the longer bit? Not sure if you think I'm being too crazy, but I think it makes it so pretty. Elsie Lyric or Elsie Lyrical, just beautiful for a word name. Obviously being that song is just a beautiful thing to give. My last very daring choice is Elsie Oath. So oath again is one of those virtue words we were talking about, and Elsie means God is my oath. So I think it brings the meaning into the middle spot. Oath, oath being a promise, and I think it's really gorgeous named. It could be Elsie Promise, but I like oath. I like taking that meaning and putting it right in there in the middle. I hope those weren't all too brave for her. Wilder for a boy. What about Wilder Colt as my safe choice? Colt is a young horse, and I feel like when you've got Wilder, you do think of like wild horses or adventurous, outdoorsy Wilder. And I think if you have a traditional name like Wilder Dave, it's like Dave but Wilder. So you need to kind of go with a thing, and I liked Wilder Colt. Is really cool being this young horse, which is cute. I've done Wilder Bardo as my brave choice, which means water. It repeats the D, and like I said, not two word names, because I do think Wilder and another word name is hard to pull off. So Wilder Bardo sound as cool as each other. They balance each other, and they've got this wild water feeling to it, which again is that sort of outdoorsy, nature-led name that you guys like. And my last one is Wilder AZARIAH. So I was looking for a longer name that was maybe slightly more traditional but still quirky, because, sorry, my sister's dog, I was like, is she here? Wilder AZARIAH, really lovely. Wilder AZARIAH means helped by God, and I think it's really cool having that Z in there. A little bit different and unique again. And then middle names for Maeve, last up. Maeve, my safe one, I love these, is Angelique. So I think with the V and then the Q of Angelique is really lovely, and I really like Angelique. It sounds like angelic, of course, and Maeve meaning intoxicating. It's kind of a gorgeous combination like that. I like having the open R sound, so Maeve, Angelique, you're saying the A in the same way, which is what I was going for with this pairing, and the 3-syllable balancing out the 1 syllable. So if you don't love Angelique, look for other names that begin with that A sound. My brave choice, I'm a bit obsessed with, is Meadow. Maeve Meadow. I instantly wanted to do alliteration with the name Maeve, and I think Maeve Meadow just takes me into a place of lilac fields. I know it's not mauve, but Maeve Meadow just sounds so beautiful to me. Very, very pretty. Makes Maeve very pretty in my sound and repeats. I liked the AE in Maeve and then the EA in Meadow. I thought it looked beautiful on paper. And the last one is the name ENEKO. So Maeve ENEKO, which is ENEKO, which means my little dear. So such a gorgeous name. It comes up a lot on boy name lists, but I think it looks really trendy for a little girl name, especially for the middle or for the beginning. She could be Coco. Maeve ENEKO, I liked the idea that it was something a bit trendier, ending in the O, different types of sounding again, and with all the E's. So you've got EE in Maeve, EE in ENEKO, so it just looks really cool, so pretty again. So those are my choices. I hope you got some ideas for middle spots there. I had loads more, so if you would like part 2 of this, let me know, and let me know if you need a middle spot in the comment section below. Do help each other out and come up with names you're great at naming. Don't forget there is a new podcast out, Baby Name Envy, and you can find us every day on Baby Name Envy Instagram, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.